Afternoon, folks. I have got a good report for you. I'm talking bombshell breaking news. We got James Comer, Rhino Nancy Mace, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, all three weighing in on the situation. What I'm talking about is there's this old lady named Granny Janet Yellen, little white haired old lady. She works for the Treasury Department. She's Secretary of the Treasury, I believe it is. And the Oversight Committee's been trying to get information from this lady for a while, get access to documents and things that they're actually in possession of. Excuse me. And she's been fighting tooth and nail, like I said, this whole time. They've been trying to subpoena the information, and they finally got access, so they can actually go down in the skiffs to the Treasury Department, get the document, thousands and thousands of pages of documents about Biden's business. And this is getting good, folks. Originally, we had three of the Bidens initially that we knew were involved in this scheme. And then we found out now there were six Biden family members involved in the scheme. And as of today, due to these new reports, we found out that there is at least 9 Biden family members involved in this influence peddling and this money laundering situation. Alleged, for YouTube's sake. But truth be known, it's all coming out. I don't know how these folks are going to explain this to the IRS as far as tax reasons, considering they all took money that nobody seemed to want to claim on their taxes. I guarantee you, just my speculation. But at any rate, I got several clips here for you, the timelines for each transaction with the suspicious activity reports from the banks. This is going to be hands down no way to avoid the truth from coming out on this. How are the Bidens going to explain all of these particulars that I'm speaking about right now? Just these few little details is enough to put, I'm sure, every one of them in jail for tax evasion in a fair justice system. But I'll leave it at that. Now, I've got several clips here. I'm editing a little differently today, so just bear with me if this thing's a little choppy.
To the Treasury Department, you looked at it today, as I understand it, 150 suspicious activity reports. I guess this relates to the Hunter Biden business. Is there anything you can tell us about these suspicious activity reports? Did you learn things that were new?
We learned a lot that was new. The committee went there today, but I've had staff there over the past 2 weeks. There are thousands of pages of documents relating to financial transactions. And let me be very clear. This isn't just about the president's son or the president's brother. We've identified 6 new Biden family members involved in shady foreign transactions that we believe were a direct result of influence peddling. That brings the number of Biden family members now to 9 that were in.
You hear that, folks? 9 is the magic number now. Hey, it's only growing. And here, listen to this part. It even gets better.
Involved in the Biden family influence peddling, and we still have more family members that we suspect were involved. So this is a family affair. This is something that should be troubling to every American. And what we've learned from going through these records are there are a lot of additional LLCs, a lot of additional bank accounts that we didn't know prior to going to the Treasury Cabinet. So we've learned a lot. This investigation is ongoing, but I can tell you without hesitation, it's very serious, and the President of the United States is going to have a very hard time explaining how so many of his family members have received so much money from our adversaries around the world.
And
just left.
Ooh, I gotta agree with that. That's going to be the end game to all this exposure that's happening as we speak. When they end up with hundreds of activity reports that equal hundreds of transactions that have no explanation as to what was being purchased and directly who they were directly going from and to, like say China to the Biden's pocket, this will eventually be enough stink to hopefully get the Bidens out. What we got here, folks, is Nancy Mace, who I'm not a fan of at all. But at any rate, after this, after they were allowed this information from the Treasury, they started reviewing the documents, and they all come outside the House and had a little bit to say about it. Here's Nancy Mace, and just tell me what you think about her reaction as well.
Treasury to review over 100 suspicious activity reports on the Biden family, and I have to tell you, there are more Bidens involved than we knew previously. It's wild, the number of family members involved, and it's even the amount of money that we're talking about in these suspicious activity reports is astronomical.
Well, Democrats on the Oversight Committee.
The amount of money involved is astronomical. And this was a Fox News report, and they had to at least throw in there what the Democrats are saying about all this conversation that is going on today. The Democrats are saying there's no evidence against the Biden family at this point. Can't be none. And so I'll let you listen to this Fox correspondent give the Democrat House Oversight Committee opinion about all this new information coming out.
Fired back stating this. After years of pursuing political dirt against the Biden family, today's statement by Chairman Comer once again proves that he has failed to uncover evidence of any wrongdoing by President Biden. More troublingly, committee Republicans continue to mischaracterize suspicious activity reports as evidence of misconduct or criminality instead of calling them what they are, unsubstantiated tips that rarely result in any follow-up by law enforcement.
That's the Democrats' playbook. Nothing to see here. You can't prove anything. And until we actually are forced to look at the evidence, Biden's still innocent. That's what they're doing. No doubt about it, folks. We know how it works. Now, this is just about as damning a thing as any piece of information, any suspicious activity report, any bank record, any document, any laptop. This right here is absolute damning evidence to me, as far as I'm concerned. First, we got Peter Doocy asking Joe Biden, has he ever been involved? What does he know about his son's overseas business dealings? And you get the obvious Biden answer, which I'll get right into. But truth be known, there's about a half a dozen videos out there where Biden has said, nope, I don't know nothing about what my son was doing overseas or any of my other family members. He is steadfast on that lie. Now, we've actually got phone conversations with dad and son talking about, I think you're in the clear. And then we've got another phone conversation, just as damning, about Hunter Biden talking about Patrick Ho, who disappeared, who was the Chinese spy chief billionaire. And he's having a phone conversation about it as well. Check it out, folks. All three clips here, back to back to back.
Dealings.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas dealings.
And so how do you know?
Here's what I know. I know Trump deserves to be investigated. He is violating every basic norm of a president. You should be asking him the question, why is he on the phone with a foreign leader, trying to intimidate a foreign leader, if that's what happened? That appears what happened. You should be looking at Trump. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum. And he's using the abuse of power and every element of the presidency to try to do something to smear me. Everybody looked at this, and everybody's looked at it and said there's nothing there. Ask the right question.
If you ask a Democrat, there is no there, and that's what he's talking about, folks. He is trying to obfuscate. It's all Trump's fault. He's the villain here. And everybody I've talked to says there's nothing to see here. Now, that's pretty damning evidence because they now have absolute proof that he did have many dealings with his son through emails and transactions as well. And here's some proof of that right here. So you just see these things alone should be enough to convict Biden of being a liar. And once they prove he's a liar, well, then somebody's got to ask the right questions. Now, this is Hunter Biden on the phone.
I get calls from my father to tell me that the New York Times is calling, but my old partner, Eric, who literally has done me harm for I don't know how long, is the one taking the calls because my father will not stop sending the calls to Eric. I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of literally, Dr. Patrick Ho, the spy chief of China, who started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, found it. It is now missing. The richest man in the world is missing.
Hey, Palace Dad, it's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you get a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk to you. I thought the article, at least the thing online, that's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think it's clear. And anyway, if you get a chance, give me a call. I love it.
We're just walking out of Treasury now, and very.
Now, that's just a couple of conversations that are around the internet of Hunter Biden. There's some emails that are out. There's some Hunter Biden phone conversations that are out. There is some Joe Biden phone conversations out. Some voicemails that are out. All this stuff will be coming to light. If that doesn't make him look guilty, I don't know what does. And you got to remember, he had the conversation about firing the guy in Ukraine over the billion, or not getting the $1 billion. That's what them two phone conversations were about. It was about all the pressure going on with the media coming after the Bidens, after the Times up there in New York, as either the New York Times or the New York Post started writing articles about Hunter and the laptop. Like, subscribe, and share, Devoted Patriots, if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. It's James Comer. He just stepped outside the chambers, and he's got a little bit of insight. And then we'll go right into Marjorie Taylor Greene spilling the beans as well about what they found out today.
Concerning what we've seen, we knew that there were a lot of suspicious activity reports. We knew there were several LLCs. But until you see the sheer number and what the description was that the banks have accused this family of being involved in, it's very concerning. And this is why we're conducting this investigation. What we've learned over the past 2 weeks has been very valuable. Today was very productive for the members, and I think the American people are going to be very interested in our final report and to see just exactly what the Biden family's been involved in and how they've made millions and millions of dollars from our adversaries over the last few years.
Those associations resulted in millions of dollars in cash flow. There exists a vast web of corporate connections and financial transactions between and among the Biden family and Chinese nationals. And I've seen it. I've seen it in the bank records. There is direct evidence of wire transfers in the millions coming from China that go directly into people who served as so-called consultants and held LLCs that took the money directly from their bank accounts and paid out different members of the Biden family. And what's really interesting is the further we dig, the more Biden family's members that we find. And it's not just a few, it's more than you can imagine.
What do y'all think about that video, folks? I tried to cut it up the best I could. I'm trying a few little different editing techniques here. Still a little sloppy, I got to say. But truth be known, this information that they finally got access to is only going to corroborate what the information that they already had in hand. And it's coming, folks. The Bidens are busted. And the truth of the matter is, we don't know if it's just the Bidens. There's always the possibility that the Obama crew is in on it too. Just my thoughts, folks. Like, subscribe, and share, Devoted Patriots. Over and out.